Hello folks, in this guide for AVOWED, we will be covering the best gear to be acquired within the Emerald Stair. We're covering all unique weapons, armour, clothing, trinkets and rings, as well as all of the Skaen Fragments, where to locate the Skaen Shrine, and all of the Adra and Awakened Adra locations. There's a lot to cover here, but I've streamlined the entire region, so this guide is best followed from start to finish, or you could just cherry pick the gear you want for a specific playthrough. I can't help but include spoilers, and some of them are pretty big, but I will forewarn throughout on any potential spoilers for specific quest lines or areas, and I'll do my best to keep it to the point. There is a great deal of nuance within AVOWED. Multiple quest lines can reward different unique rewards, and not every single one of them will be obtainable on a single playthrough. Additionally, a handful of these uniques are also missable. Perform the wrong action or make the wrong choices and they will be lost. I've done my best to weed out these differences and I will explain more as and when we run into them, but other than that, let's get started. Halfway through the editing process, I did discover two additional unique items. These are Civilised Influence and the Death Knight gloves. Our first location is immediately as we enter into Emerald Stair, marked just here on the map. One of our future companions will request our assistance climbing the nearby runes. Upon doing so, you'll find this chest at the very top with a piece of Adra inside. Our next location is marked just here on the map. Here you'll find these two NPCs, and this is where to start the Nature vs Nurture questline, where we can receive the Ring of Pain Amplification and the Wolf Boots just a little later on. Our next location is further north, marked right here on the map. Here you'll find this tree with enemies around it. Once defeating them, head over to the base of the tree to locate this lockbox with the Eothasian Boots inside. Our next location is a short walk north, marked just here on the map. Once here, follow the path on screen onto the second floor to locate this key. Next, head back outside and into the downstairs room to find this chest with the Vailian Gauntlets inside. Our next location is even further north, marked just here on the map. Here we have the Ranger's Tower. You'll first want to speak with these NPCs to receive the Steel Resolve Sidequest, where you can acquire one last trick and Traitor's Trust, which I will cover quite a bit later on in this guide. Next, begin ascending the tower. And at the very top, you'll find the first Skaen Fragment, as well as this lockbox with a piece of Awakened Adra inside. Our next location is just a short walk from the tower, marked right here on the map. Here we have this shallow cave behind the tower. Simply head inside to find this chest with Hjilde's handy hide inside. Our next location is this abandoned home, marked just here on the map. Simply destroy this wall and head inside to find this chest with the Eothasian Gauntlets inside. Our next location is marked just here on the map. Here you'll encounter a boss fight. Once defeating the boss, you'll find a piece of Awakened Adra on his corpse. Our next location is west, marked right here on the map. Here you'll find one of the 5 bounties available within Emerald Stair. When ready, head over to this house to find a second Skaen Fragment right here. Our next location is back south, marked right here on the map. Here you'll find this corpse. Follow the path on screen to locate this button on the wall. Next, head inside to find this chest with the shoes of the Glimmering merchant inside. Our next location is east, marked right here on the map. Once here, simply follow the path on screen. Eventually, you'll locate this chest with the emerald splitter inside. Our next location is this marker here on the map. Once here, you'll find this farmer with the food theft side quest available. Accepting this will allow you to acquire Forager's friend a little bit later on. Our next location is just a little south, marked right here on the map. Here, you'll find the farmer's market. Head into this building to find this NPC, who has the Animancer Swallowtail for sale. Our next location is further south, marked right here on the map. Here, you'll find Emilio the Merchant. Within his wares, he will have a single piece of Awakened Adra for sale. Our next location is not far, marked right here on the map. Once here, speak with Joseph and accept his side quest.
You wouldn't happen to be an Animancer.
Once done, head into his house to locate this chest with a piece of Adra inside. Our next location is west of the docks, marked right here on the map. Once here, follow the path on screen to this skeleton. Once interacting with the skeleton, a big fight will take place. Once surviving this fight, head back over to the skeleton to find Horsecutter sitting right here. Next, begin heading west along the coastline until reaching this cove. Begin using ice to traverse the pathway on screen. At the end here, you will find this corpse with Vesrik's Grimoire beside it. Our next location is slightly north of the last, marked right here on the map. Once here, you'll find this building with a dead Dilem gun at the center. Within its corpse, you will find Woodman's labor. Our next location is just slightly north, marked right here on the map. Here, you'll find this large pit. Begin making your way down to locate this NPC at the very bottom. Whether accepting their side quest or not, begin following the path on screen and retrieve this key. If you are assisting the NPC, then I recommend returning his documents now and then coming back. When ready, begin following the path on screen and use the key from before on this door. Head inside to immediately find Sun and Moon sitting right here. Our next location is west, marked right here on the map. Once here, you'll find this phantom outside of this cave. Head inside and prepare for a boss fight. This is one of the 5 bounties we can hand in later on. Once all is done, begin heading up this route close to the center of the room. Once up here, begin climbing further up to eventually locate this corpse with Survivor's Guilt sat right beside it. Our next location is just a little further north, marked right here on the map. Here, you'll find this waterfall. Simply head inside and follow the path on screen. There is a cave within here, which I will be covering a little bit later on in this guide. Upon following the path, you'll eventually locate this painter's cave with this chest inside. Within the chest, you will find painter's brush. Our next location is the city of Fior Mesevueno. Once here, you'll want to accept the following side quests. First, all 5 of the bounties on the board, which will eventually reward Tree of Life. Next, follow the path on screen to this NPC and accept their side quest, which will reward Berath's Blessed Ward. I'm not covering how to complete this specific quest, as it quite simply just requires visiting 3 separate locations and then returning back here to complete. We will be traveling very close to these locations throughout the guide, so either complete as we continue or in your own time. Next, you'll want to follow the path on screen once again to this manor. You may need to briefly progress the main story in town before being able to access here. Either way, once inside, head upstairs and into this room to locate this lockbox. Inside, you will find the Vailian Breastplate. Next, following the paths on screen, begin visiting each merchant for the following wares. The merchant closest to the bounty board has Minoletta's Conduit for sale, along with 2 pieces of awakened Adra. Next, the merchant around the corner has the Warmage braces for sale. And finally, the merchant on this corner has Loadstone and 2 additional pieces of awakened Adra for sale. Finally, you will want to progress the main quest in town before eventually leaving. Our next location is north, marked right here on the map. Here, you'll find this raised island, center of the river. Using ice, make your way over to find this lockbox, which will require 5 lockpicks, and it's the only container within this guide that does. Once open, you'll find the Vailian Boots inside. Next, head on over to the raised platforms on the east side and navigate upwards to the cave entrance. There are minor spoilers ahead, folks. Upon entering the cave, you'll discover Paradisian rebels taking refuge. Upon confronting the leader, you will ultimately want to make sure you leave with the food supplies in order to receive Forager's friend as a reward. There is no unique item reward for siding with the rebels or killing them, so do bear this in mind. Once done, head behind the rebel leader to find this chest. Inside, you'll find the Warmage boots. Next, either heading back to the farmer now or later on, you will want to reject his initial payment and he will instead reward you with Forager's friend. If you accept his initial reward, you will instead only receive coins. Our next location is within the northwest, marked right here on the map. Minor spoilers ahead, folks. Here, you'll find this docile Azorip camp. Begin heading upwards and inside. Upon speaking with this NPC, you will want to eventually side with them and agree with their goals. Upon doing so, you'll be asked to call off the rangers. Upon returning to the quest givers, you'll want to lie to them and say you've dealt with the Zorips. Upon doing so, they will reward you with the Ring of Pain Amplification.
Thank you, friend.
Next, return back to the Zorip camp and confirm the rangers have been called off to receive the wolf boots. Siding with either party in this quest will only reward you with either unique item. The only way to receive both is to follow the previous steps. Our next location is west, marked right here on the map. Here, you'll find this merchant with a single piece of awakened Adra for sale. Our next location is south of the last, marked right here on the map. Here, you'll find this guarded building. When ready, head around the side and activate the lamp on this statue to open the nearby door. Head inside to locate the 3rd Skaen Fragment sitting right here.
Oh, I thought Hjilde was all about art, birds, and pretty things.
Next, from this location, begin following the path on screen. Continue heading further upwards until locating this puzzle. Follow the steps on screen to unlock the door. Once inside of here, follow the path through to the nearby boss room. Once you've defeated this boss, you will find a piece of awakened Adra sitting on their corpse. When ready, begin following the steps on screen to open the nearby door. Inside, you'll find this chest with the Eothasian Breastplate inside. Next, when leaving this cave, follow the path on screen to locate this corpse with the Vailian Dueling ring on their inventory. Our next location is marked right here on the map. Once here, follow the path on screen to locate this bramble-covered cave. Burn this away to reveal this corpse with the Torc of the Warrior King on its inventory. Our next location is east, marked right here on the map. First, on the northwestern side of this lake, you'll find this chest with the wolf armor inside. Next, head over to the pier to speak with this NPC.
The water is beautiful.
Once done, retrieve the mysterious rock from the bottom of the lake. At this point, you'll want to follow the next few steps quite carefully. Return to the docks in the south of this region, and first speak with the mysterious stranger. Do not hand over the rock, and instead offer an alternative solution.
Such as?
You'll have to give away a memory, and it does not matter which one. Doing so will allow for you to keep a hold of the rock.
I feel it. There.
Next, head back to Joseph and return the rock to then receive the Chanter's panpipes. Next, you'll want to return to any camp. Once you have, simply leave and head back to the mysterious stranger. He will now be gone, but in his place, you'll instead find the Statuette of Lament. Our next location is Tamer's cabin, marked right here on the map. Once here, follow the path on screen. Eventually, you'll locate this strangled Adra. Interact with this to receive a piece of awakened Adra. Our next location is once again Tamer's cabin, marked right here on the map. Once here, follow the path on screen. Eventually, you'll reach this raised area with nearby ruins. Follow the path on screen once again to locate the secret button on this building. Next, head back around and into the room to find Nature's Ward sitting right here. Our next location is west of the last, marked right here on the map. Once here, simply begin navigating upwards. Once at the very top, you'll find the Skaen Totem base sitting right here. Our next location is south, marked right here on the map. Once here, follow the path on screen into the nearby ruins. Once inside, simply follow the steps on screen to eventually open the main chamber. Once inside of here, you'll find Ode Kyra's Grimoire sitting right here. Next, continue following the steps on screen. To locate this chest with an awakened Adra inside. Our next location is east, marked right here on the map. Here you'll find another Ranger's Tower. Begin ascending all the way to the top. Once here, you'll find this ancient memory.
Give me a moment. I'll join you.
Our next location is a little further east, marked just here on the map. Once here, simply follow the path on screen. Eventually, you'll locate this chest with the porpoise plate inside. Our next location is back west, slightly southwest of the Ranger's Tower, marked right here on the map. Once here, simply follow the path on screen to this platform. Once here, you'll find this lockbox with the Gilded Skull inside. Our next location is west, marked right here on the map. Once here, follow the path on screen to locate this key. There are multiple ways to approach this, but for this guide, I'm choosing this one. Next, head back and into this building and destroy these boards covering the window.
That broken window. Stay there.
Follow the routes here to the back of the encampment.
Right behind.
To eventually locate the Tranton family. This is another of the 5 available bounties. Once done, you can retrieve the Tranton family plate, boots, gloves, and medallion sitting on each family member's corpse. Our next location is just further south, marked right here on the map. Here, you'll find this cave entrance into the ancient grove. When ready, head inside and begin following the path on screen. Inside of this first big chamber, you'll encounter another of the 5 available bounties.
You know what they say about...
Next, continue heading through the cave until reaching this split. Once here, continue following the path on screen. Eventually, you'll locate this small cave with presumably the founder's corpse. Both on and around the corpse, you'll find the ring of the founder, along with the 4th Skaen Fragment.
You can fiddle with them there.
Next, I advise handing in all 5 bounties at the bounty board. We have covered 4 of the 5. Once completing the 5th, return to the bounty board NPC, and your reward will be the Tree of Life. At this point in the game, I advise progressing the main story quest until being tasked with retrieving the Andragon Heart. Once you've accepted this, begin heading to this marker here on the map. Once here, head into the large open area and deal with the enemies. Once done, begin following the path on screen. Eventually, you'll locate this platform with the 5th Skaen Fragment. Next, head into the main chamber and one way or another, begin combat with the boss. Once defeating her, you will find the Ring of Minor Deflection sitting on her corpse. Next, head over to this chest at the side of the chamber, and inside you will find the Garland of the Wild Groves. At this point in the guide, everything I cover is pretty spoiler heavy, so once again, you have been warned, folks. Before progressing the main story any further, I will explain how to acquire the Death Knight armor set, as well as Karnit's Cutlass. Before progressing into Nanu Tedek, you should be aware of the cave within this waterfall. Inside of here is a large force of Steel Garrote. If you neglect to enter this cave prior to completing the main story at Nanu Tedek, then the Steel Garrote forces will overrun and burn the main city to the ground. If you enter this cave and eliminate them all prior to completing the main story at Nanu Tedek, the main city will repel the attack and it will determine your ability to gain Karnit's Cutlass. For the purposes of this guide, you will want to not enter inside this cave until after the Steel Garrote have burned the city to the ground. For now, we're going to wrap up on the Steel Resolve side quest and then Nanu Tedek before returning to this cave. If you followed this guide all the way through, then you'll likely have uncovered enough information to just simply speak with Ranger Dorso and outright call her a liar. Regardless, I believe any interaction will result in her directing you towards an area to the north. Upon arriving here, follow the path on screen to find this note. Next, head down to the base of the Steel Garrote waterfall and meet with Ranger Dorso. The next few steps are quite important. If you side with Ranger Dorso and agree to assist her and lie to the other Rangers, then she should reward you with Traitor's Trust. However, I followed what I believe were the exact same steps with 2 separate characters, and only one was rewarded Traitor's Trust at this point, so I either did something wrong or it bugged out. Regardless, once done, head back to the Ranger's Tower where you received the quest and simply lie to the Rangers about Ranger Dorso's fate. Upon doing so, they will happily reward you with one last trick. Alternatively, reprimanding Ranger Dorso in any way will also reward one last trick.
I hope this at least lets them clean up their ranks.
We are going to cover Nanu Tedic first. Our next location is marked right here on the map. Once here, simply follow the path on screen into this small hut. Inside here, you'll find this lockbox with a piece of Awakened Adra inside. Next, head over to the merchant at the center of camp, and within her wares, she will have the Warmage's robes for sale, along with 2 pieces of Awakened Adra. Next, begin following the path on screen. Eventually, you will locate Civilising Influence, sitting right here. Next, continue following the path on screen to eventually locate this Zorip camp. Within here, you'll find this chest with the wolf gloves inside. Finally, you will want to enter into Nanu Tedic and progress the main story. Whilst inside of here, you will want to follow the path on screen until finding this puzzle door. Follow the steps on screen to gain access. Once inside, navigate upwards to locate the 6th and final Skaen Fragment, sitting just here. Next, continue through the temple until locating this room with the broken drain. Heading inside, follow the underwater passage until locating the exit. On the other side, begin following the path and steps on screen. Eventually, you'll locate this sarcophagus with the pack mule's burden inside. Next, continuing through the temple, you'll eventually locate this room with Giant Slumber sitting at the center.
I think it's sleeping.
I've never seen anything like it before.
Finally, at the end of this temple, you will retrieve a single piece of Awakened Adra from the boss.
Some of us have work to do. I guess that means the coast is clear.
If you previously decided to leave the Steel Garrote within the Waterfall Cave alone, then you can now speak with this NPC at the refuge to receive the Debt of Blood sidequest. Once accepting this, head on over to the Ranger's Tower, marked right here on the map. Once here, you'll encounter Karnet.
Soldiers by the watchtower. Take care.
Envoy, what are you doing here?
Engage in combat with her, and once all is said and done, you can retrieve Karnet's cutlass from her corpse. Our next location is the Waterfall Cave itself, marked right here on the map. If you chose to leave this until after Nanu Tedic, then it will be inhabited by Zorips instead of Steel Garrote. Regardless, begin following the path on screen. Eventually, you'll locate this chest with the Death Knight Sabatons inside. Next, drop down into the chamber below to find this pool of water at the back. Head inside of here and follow the underwater passage. Eventually, you'll locate this small cave with a chest, and inside you'll find a Death Knight armor. Our final location is the entrance to Shatterscarp, marked right here on the map. Put simply, if you engage Aelfir during this exchange,
moment of your time, if you please.
then you can find the Death Knight gauntlets sitting on her corpse. That's it for this guide, folks. First things first, I do now have a Discord, which I'm slowly populating with handcrafted guides. It's very bare bones at the minute, but it's a working project, so do feel free to stop on by and try and liven the place up. I am working on all other major areas, and I intend to get those videos out at a slightly quicker pace. I do, of course, have a range of guides on the channel, and will be endlessly working on many more, so do feel free to stop on by and check things out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, folks, and until next time, peace.